I would take a Star Trek movie with me. It's just tough to say if I would pick Wrath of Khan or The Voyage Home. Wrath of Khan, I think, is my favorite, but The Voyage Home is so much fun. Kind of feel like I would want a fun, silly, enjoyable film on a desert island. Ooh, I have to pull Casablanca. I actually met my partner on a trip, a reality TV shoot in Morocco, so Casablanca is kind of our, like, coupley movie. I really do love it, and I feel like I don't know, there's something nostalgically emotional about it that I don't think a lot of other romance movies have. I think Desert Island, good vibes. I'm gonna go with Raiders. I feel like also good company for the island, and like just this movie's never not fun to watch. I'm Lila Woodbridge. I'm a director, producer, and editor, and these are my Desert Island picks, and you're watching the Film Stock Podcast.
No, you're good. You feeling comfortable?
Yeah, I'm trying to get not like sitting crazy.
No, I mean, this is me throughout the episode. I feel like Al Pacino on like a talk show. Like I can't sit still. And it's this thing I have in movies too. I don't know how you are, but like whenever I go to see a movie, I am always adjusting myself. I can never find like a comfortable spot.
I still have, even being an editor, I still have the ability to like zen into the movie and
completely
lose myself. Yeah.
I'm so jealous of that because
it makes me very annoyed when people are like on their phones and then I get snapped out of it.
On the phones, I understand, but I always feel like I'm that asshole because like I see a lot of movies with Ace. It's been a while since we have, but like he just has the ability to foot over leg and he's in, and I feel like I'm distracting him because like this is me throughout the movie just like figuring out how to get comfortable.
Tall too. Sometimes it's hard to get adjusted and comfy.
Especially in the old seats. So when we saw
the recliners,
those recliners are amazing. Those are good, but then we saw Long Legs together in Providence, and it was the old school seats before like Showcase had revamped, and I'm like, how did we do this our whole life, you know? But anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. I do want to acknowledge this. This really is so badass.
Thank you.
And you designed it.
Yes, yeah. It's the second one I've designed. I put one that I did up for Blade Runner 2049. That was my fun pandemic hobby.
Just to do it,
yeah. I hadn't seen it. It's gotten kind of big now. Like people sell on Etsy a lot the kind of like, you know, modern VHS tape, but it used to be the sort of very rare. And I was like, oh, no one has done this. And you know.
And you just did it for fun.
Just did it for fun. And I actually just like, I printed it out on like cardstock and like actually like cut it out and pasted it and stuff, which was very not fun.
Did you do that for this?
No. This we ordered because we sold a lot through the Indiegogo for the film. So we ordered like a batch stock from a professional printing company, and they pre-cut them, pre-folded them. Duplication, I highly recommend.
That's awesome. Well, the movie is Interference. We're going to get into that in a little bit because I honestly feel like half our conversation is going to be that. I rewatched it today and I've got so many questions, but for anybody that doesn't know you, you're Lila Woodbridge. You are a filmmaker from here in New England. Let's go back to the beginning. Where are you from?
I actually was born in Oklahoma, but have lived in Fairhaven, Massachusetts most of my life. Then I went to college in New York, so sort of have been setting that up as a little bit of a home base too.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Adelphi University. It's in Garden City in Long Island.
Cool.
So basically like a 40-minute train ride into the city, which was a really good balance for me, you know. And it's really nice to have friends that still have parents that have houses in Long Island.
Yeah.
But yeah. So definitely sort of been pretty 50-50 with New York and Massachusetts, just because I'm fully remote. Most of editing is my, you know, full-time job.
But your Indiegogo, which we will get to, Indiegogo says LA filmmaker.
Yeah, I was in LA when we were setting that up.
Okay.
My boyfriend lives in LA, so I spend a lot of time out there as well.
So you're like bi-coastal.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Now, out of curiosity, I do want to get into it because you mentioned something yesterday that was really interesting. The fact that you graduated in 2020.
Yeah.
probably the worst time for anybody looking to be a filmmaker to graduate and kind of get into the industry.
Yes.
But like, just from your perspective over the course of the past 5 years or so, do you prefer, and there is a right answer to this, do you prefer East Coast or West Coast?
100% East Coast.
Yeah.
I am very much a New York girl. Like,
you can stay.
LA has amazing like nature. Like, it's really cool to be able to, like, we drove like 2 hours and you're leaving 80 degrees and sunny and you're in snow-capped mountains in a snowstorm. So it's like just so cool. You know, we don't have, around Massachusetts at least, I've like really struggled. So I've been on every hike available in the area and you just can't find the like vistas that you can get out there. It's very impressive. But as far as like being in a city and like meeting people, I've like fallen in love with how like living in New York feels like what every movie makes living in New York look like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, my friends live a block away and we go and walk together and like it's
go to the
just
all-night
magical.
cafes, talk about films.
Literally.
Yeah.
It feels very cliche.
Cool. I like that. So graduated in 2020. So that is interesting though. Can you elaborate on what it was like for you, you know, aspiring filmmaker, to kind of graduate, and were you faced with the challenges of the pandemic, everything kind of being shut down, like stay home?
It was really interesting. I feel like I actually got very lucky in that I was able to sort of find a career in video editing and be able to like give that my whole focus because so many people needed remote work done. So there was suddenly this huge like people were hiring for a job that sort of didn't exist before. So it wasn't a big deal that I was new to the workforce because kind of everybody was new to this like, you know,
environment,
new way of doing things.
This like stay at home distance, you know, working thing.
Yeah. And you know, that this film had originally, it was supposed to be my thesis project for, you know, my like graduating thesis for my communications degree. And so we didn't get to do it. And that was sort of, okay, there's this huge disappointment. But, you know, obviously missed out on being able to jump directly into all of that sort of like in-person production stuff in New York that I would have loved to do. But I do think the being forced to go back home to live with your parents, it's like, oh, you're not allowed to move out and you're not allowed to pay rent for at least like a year, gave me like, I had so much leeway to take terrible jobs that didn't pay anything and sort of pay my dues. It's like, I don't know how, if you're paying rent, you can take those kinds of horrible jobs that you have to take in order to build up your resume and stuff.
Yeah, so in a way, you kind of got past the drudgery of being like a PA on set and like, you know, commuting 2 hours to get paid $14 an hour and work a 16-hour day.
Yeah, to me, that just looked like we're going to pay you $5 to edit like a, you know, 20-minute brand video and you just have to deal with it.
So now in college, what was your idea for life? I mean, did you want to be getting out of college and like directing? Did you want to be on set? Did you want to be in a certain department, or were you imagining being a PA?
This is a very interesting question. I actually double majored in communications and psychology.
Okay.
So even really on graduating, I was never really willing to give up the idea that I might go into academia and like might go back to grad school and might do like film theory and all, you know. So I wasn't really interested in clinical psychology, but research psychology I was like obsessed with.
Sure.
So I definitely did not have some sort of concrete, like, this is my goal. I'm going into the industry.
So like you had a passion for film, like you grew up loving it, but you didn't necessarily see yourself being a filmmaker per se.
I mean, in pursuing the communications degree, that was like a film and video. Like I was in all the production classes. I was, you know, directing shorts with everybody. So that was definitely also a passion. I just have a lot of trouble narrowing down my passions.
Yeah.
But no, I definitely knew that from the beginning. I've like sort of just loved the like on-set culture. I love the collaborative creativity. I love everything about like the sort of filmmaking art. And, you know, I'm super interested in it psychologically and like academically as well. But, you know, marrying all those passions is something I still kind of struggle with.
No, that makes sense. I mean, again, we're going to get to it. We're going to get into it like an in-depth and focused way. But watching Interference, I can see how all of those interests kind of married and melded themselves into that form.
It's pretty
you know
psychological.
What I mean? It's very psychological, but it's also cool because it's got I mean, I guess we're just going to get into it because it strikes me as a movie that was thought through. Like, it doesn't strike me as a movie that like you just
Yeah.
blurted
Yes.
onto a
It was
page and we're like, let's go.
very much shot through and thought through. Yeah, I think that's also part of the interesting thing of it being, originally sort of a college project, and then basically we just had the time to like really think about like, oh, what do we actually want to do with this? The original script was like very different and almost kind of like an aesthetic music video. Like it was a lot less narrative driven and a lot more kind of like aesthetically driven. So we sort of had like a lot of free range to me and all of our other writers. I am not the only person that worked on the script. Had a lot of time to think about like, oh, well, what do we want to like actually do with this narrative? And, what do we want the aesthetic to be doing rather than just showing?
So for the audience that'll be watching this video, can you catch them up to speed? What is Interference? Like, give us the log line.
Interference is a short film. It is a psychological horror film that takes place in the early 1980s and focuses on a lot of the impact of the start of the AIDS epidemic and, the media coverage of that and sort of the societal tension and how that impacts one teenage boy who is closeted. So, yeah.
Good log line. That was a good elevator pitch. Yeah, you give the whole thing in just a couple of sentences. Yeah, I think I said this to you the other day, but whenever I think of a short film that's going to be more than 10 minutes, just like my baseline assumption is like, fuck off with this. What are we doing here? But this,
very valid.
This I got to see at New Bedford Film Festival, and as I was watching, I was like, God damn, okay, this is good. And then I get about halfway through, and I'm like, this is really good. And then I get to the end, and I'm like, what did I just watch? And like that, how long was that? Like 25 minutes, but it didn't feel that way.
That's good. That's good to hear.
It didn't. No, it was very well done. And we mentioned this the other day, but it also seemed to be in a block of films at New Bedford Film Festival that it was just like banger after banger.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It was a very intense block. We were also last, so I was just like, oh my gosh, the pressure is really on.
It was a good way to finish that block.
Yeah.
For certain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, okay, so how did this project come about? You said that, there were multiple writers on it and it started in college. Can you talk about how it kind of came to you or like?
Yeah. My friend Stephanie in college wrote the initial script and was sort of the intention for me to direct it for my thesis film. I produced a lot of her shorts and, a lot of back and forth.
And you met each other in college? Like you didn't know each other in high school or anything like that?
Met in college. And then basically the pandemic sort of put that on delay for like 2 years, lots of life stuff. Was a very slow process making this film, which, we didn't have any intense pressure, which I think was helpful in some ways and definitely not helpful in other ways.
How so?
Just being able to super creatively dive into, it's a very sound-based film.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound design and the score were like, we just babied them. And the edit as well. Yeah, and that was nice. My dad did the score, so
and he won.
Yes, and we won Best Original Score at the film festival.
Congratulations to your dad.
Yes,
the score is amazing.
I am literally actually I was listening to one of your other episodes, and you guys talked about where you sort of the moment where you hate what you're working on, and then you see the music with it and you're like, oh, I love this again. And that's exactly what happened with this.
Yeah, I think we were talking to Alyssa about that. And it's so true. It's like you spend so much time on the edit and you're like, oh my God, does this even make sense? Like, what did I give birth to? This is awful. And then somebody with musical talent comes along and they're like, I get it musically. And they put it in there. It's like a whole different experience.
Yeah. The sound in the film, there's a lot of technological elements. There's, TVs, radios.
Old school technological.
Yes, yeah, from the 80s. And a lot of like static glitching. And that is truly the horror elements of the film are all sound-based.
Yeah.
So doing the score, it was not like a clean process because I was like, okay, so, our composer needs to have sound design elements.
Mhm.
And then I also want the score to be, sort of straddle the line of music and sound design. I think the score has a lot of really cool elements that are like analog, glitchy instruments. That, you can't really tell if it's in the room. There's a huge discussion with the sound mixer of like, what is, where are you hearing it? We had a 5.1 mix too. So, we really dove deep into the sound and it was a really cool process.
And how did it come about? I mean, what's your dad's background? Why did he end up composing the score?
He has been a musician his whole life. He was a jazz musician, and he's, just has so much musical talent that throughout college I'd be like, hey, can you score this thing? And, everybody else is using like stock music, and it's
Sure.
really fun to be able to go in there and be like, oh yeah, I got a score for this.
I got an original score. No big deal.
And, and it always sounds like so impressive and professional. It's like, oh my gosh. But this was really like a lot of creative back and forth and like, narrative and a lot getting into it much deeper than a lot of those like college shorts and whatnot.
Did it, this is going to be a weird question, but did it strain your relationship or did it bring you guys closer together?
No, definitely brought us together. I mean, just like solely because we like were able to sort of have, spend so much time together and, have it be working. But no, I'm like one of those people that if there's anyone else like that I don't have any strain with my parents ever.
That's awesome.
They're like the coolest people. I don't know what happened.
I mean, you must have a good relationship with them to then go on making a film at any stage is not easy, but then to, the last piece of it.
We shot half the film is in my dad's apartment.
Oh, cool.
That was our primary location. So yeah, both my parents like really, helped us. My mom was basically a PA on our set. Like they really supported us.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I got to talk to you about the production design element here. I mean,
for sure.
I guess there's so many different places we could take this because I'm thinking about the production design aspect of it, and it's so perfectly 80s, right? I mean, down to the smallest detail. And then you send us the Indiegogo, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, they made this on $5,000? Like, talk about that process because the period details are so good.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honestly, I sort of had been a bit of like a, analog media fanatic. So I had tons of records lying around. I had tons of VHS tapes lying around. And it was not that much of a push for me to sort of say, oh, like I have an old CRT TV. Let's throw that in the mix,
Did you set it in the 80s because you already had a lot of the production design?
No, the sort of plot. Gosh, that's kind of because this was set in the 80s in like college, which was before I really had like started to get my hands on some fun stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, it was definitely, we have so many good thrift stores, we're able to keep those kind of costs down. And then our production designer brought a lot of their own just like stuff. They have, this massive inventory of like perfect period piece items.
And who is your production designer again?
Dizio. They are in Rhode Island and they are like amazing.
Cool. Very cool. How many days did you film for?
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow. I should have studied up on this stuff because it was.
I know. I told you yesterday. I was going to ask you the hard hitting questions. Like I'm obsessed with like the actual production of the thing. So
I think it was three overnights and then we had to do 4 overnights, and then we had to do a half day to actually shoot. There's a lot of content that's on the TV screens that is of the characters.
And you guys actually shot that?
Yeah, we had to do a half day, get our actors to come in for that, shoot that, which is a very intimate scene between the two actors. That was the first thing they ever shot together. So it was really make or break on like all of our relationship of like directing, their chemistry, and it went amazingly.
Now, did the actors know each other prior to filming?
No. Yeah, so, that was their first day they met each other.
Really? So you didn't do any like table work, anything like that?
Well, we had met up. Gosh, the shoot was really fast turnaround from crewing up and getting the shoot. We had all, I think, done a call maybe just once, but we had not done any table reading and stuff. We left time during the shoot to be doing sort of our rehearsals, but it was pretty run and gun.
Cool. That's awesome. Big crew?
No, not really. I want to say like, well, actually, I mean, it depends on what you define as a big crew.
Anything more than 25?
I would say roughly probably 20, 25.
Cool.
We had a lot of people come up from New York. It's just a lot of people I knew were from around there. A lot of folks that I was meeting for the first time that were around here. I mean, our production designer came on like 3 days before we shot.
Really?
Yes, and completely transformed the entire film.
Wow.
Yes, it was just very last minute, and it was completely crazy. No one should ever make a film like this. Like,
the more and more I talk to people and listen to interviews of directors, small and large, it's like there is no proper way to make a film. Whatever gets the thing done.
True.
And it clearly worked in this case. Wow. Yeah, 3 days before. Dizdizio.
Yes, yeah, crazy. Their set dresser, Jeremy, too. Like they both came in, and it really was interesting, our location. So we had a family friend whose mother had passed away, and her family was just about to like flip the house or whatever and sell it. But so the house, it was in a Acushnet. And it was completely like you were stepping into the 70s. Like not a thing had changed in there since then, probably. So it was really an ideal situation where we could come in, and we basically had all of our furniture and stuff like set, and just needed someone with an artistic eye to come in and like rearrange, add in key elements, like manage our props. And then, we had to supply all the like TVs and technology and all of that kind of thing. But
Sure.
We got very lucky with some very generous people, just letting us like take over. And, our first scene takes place in a diner, and they just let us film overnight there, like completely unsupervised, completely for free. Dylan's Diner, nicest people in the world.
Those are the best. Okay, so it was actually Dylan's Diner, because I did notice something as the main, not the main character, but his lover, Lewis?
Yeah, Lewis.
Lewis, when he walks away, I clocked the back of his shirt, and I'm like, that's some great production design.
Yeah, they just gave us their shirts.
But okay, that's awesome.
Yes, yeah. The waitress that's in that first shot is actually a waitress there, Lindsay.
Cool. So, oh man, that's awesome. So you did what, one full overnight for the diner?
Yes,
and then 3 overnights for everything in the house?
Yeah, we did. Well, so the house in Acushnet is our living room and kitchen, and then my dad's apartment is James's bedroom.
Okay.
So they're not in the same house, but it's just an upstairs and a downstairs of 2 separate houses.
Cool.
I mean, I think one of the most impressive things Diz did, which I think I talked about this at the film festival a little bit, but well, I don't really want to spoil it, but there's I guess, I don't know.
By the time this airs, it'll have gone through, it'll gone through a lot of the festival. So
a scene where the entire bedroom is completely deconstructed and there's nothing left. And that was that was like back-to-back shot with all of the bedroom stuff. Because we did, I guess 2 nights in the bedroom. And then that was our last night. We needed to turn over from having full set design to absolutely nothing. And we needed to do it in like 20 minutes flat.
Wow.
Sun coming up, but yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely crazy. And
it's like the NASCAR pit crew.
It really, yeah.
Was it kind of like an all hands on deck, like the sound and camera
100%,
chipping in too?
But I also, I hate to pitch that, because it's like a lot of the people that I work with, my partner runs into this a lot too, they're so impressive because they're able to do things in circumstances they should not have to do them in. So it's like, I hate to say like, oh yeah, they're really incredibly talented and dedicated, especially if you have no money and no time, because I want them to have time and money, Like I hate that that's the circumstances that, still incredibly impressive that you can thrive in them.
I mean, it is amazing what people will do. We kind of had a similar situation. We did a 1970s period, or maybe mid 60s period piece.
Wow.
And the idea was, we needed to dress this whole house with I was insistent, we're seeing everything. So we dressed the whole house. I had a great production team on that. Shawn Hoshak, Megan Guilfoyle, Olivia Sebrig. And there was this one scene where they had to dress this one room for 2 shots, and the period details and the quick turnaround. So, I mean, you have the time that you're allotted, You got to make
Yeah.
it work.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sounds like, you had a good team to do that.
Oh my gosh. They did something super impressive too, where in his bedroom, I'm trying to like mentally remember what this
Trying to
looks
mentally
like.
get through the PTSD of the shoot and go back to that
Oh,
place.
it's so long ago. Many therapists since then,
Yeah,
all better
yeah,
now. um, basically, my dad's bedroom has 3 windows
Mhm.
in it, and his James's room only has 2 windows. So basically, we wanted the room to look smaller than it actually was. So we did all this production design on one half of the room, and we would shoot all on that half. And then basically the window on that side would have a curtain on it that would look, and then once we would switch to the other side of the room, I don't know if I'm explaining this well.
No, I think I'm following.
And then that window would become the window that was 2 windows down. So it would look
So
like
you'd
it was a
essentially
small
shift kind of the
Yes.
production design.
So basically when we were shooting the other side of the room, we'd have to move all the furniture over a little bit so you could see the edge of the bed on
Wow.
the side. It was just like, I mean, it comes across seamlessly in my opinion. And
I wouldn't have known if they didn't say anything.
and it's really bizarre to think about, like, oh yeah, they just like had to figure all of that out and also figure out how to do it, in a way that wasn't going to get in the cinematographer's way and all of that. Super impressive.
And Diz came on 3 days prior.
Yes, yeah, was literally figuring this out on the spot. I mean, problem solving skills, like all these film people like should probably like be working for NASA or something, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, that's awesome. And the lighting in it, the camera work, like everything, the technical aspects of this film are truly remarkable. And also, not to like give away your hand, but as a filmmaker, I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, how did they do this? How did they make the most use of their time? And I noticed like, you had a couple, 3 beautiful wide shots that I noticed. It was like, okay, like establish and end the scene. And I was like, that's great use of your time. Like there was the establishing of the diner at the beginning, and then you've also got the establishing of the diner at the end, but it didn't feel like it was a used or repeat shot. It felt like, oh, that was a good shot that they utilized really well for multiple purposes.
The sort of time crunch for shooting all this stuff is just craziness. I mean, my partner Al, who shot and produced and co-wrote and colored and did the VFX for this film.
Jack of all trades.
Yes. I'm literally like, what he brought to the table for cinematography was, I think this film would have been very, very different and much smaller if he hadn't been sort of willing to say like, let's go all in and let's do it right. So he doesn't know how to do anything sort of, half-assed, which is a sort of illness that I share. And I think lets us work really well together. But, just having someone sort of being willing to support you and to push something as hard as you can is, film would be totally different without that.
Sure. How much of this was, did you shot list and storyboard? How much of it was, if you did?
Just a little tiny bit, not much though. It was we were rolling with a lot of last minute changes. A lot of stuff sort of we went for handheld just because we knew we needed to sort of have that versatility.
That ability to be flexible.
I mean, that the second scene with the 2 of them in the alleyway, they're sort of having like an intimate conversation, as intimate a conversation as there is in the whole film. And
if one of the most intimate scenes, if you don't include the last scene, which I consider to be their most intimate scene, ironically enough.
That is a good point. But I mean, our actors were just so incredible. Like one of the shots in there is like the one take on, their reactions and stuff. And that was a one take, sun's coming up, we got this. And the actor who played Lewis, Mike Pratt, like just one of his reactions, I gave him like maybe 2 sentences of direction. I was like, I hope that worked. And he nailed it immediately. And I was like, is he a good actor? Am I a good director? What's going on here? But it was just, it's so magical to have actors that are like, that talented, that are just willing to sort of, go to any lengths for what you're trying to do.
So you said Mike Pratt played Lewis.
Yes.
And who played
James was played by J.D. Robinson.
J.D. Robinson. So how did you find the two of them?
I just did backstage casting calls. Joshua J.D. was in New York at the time, and Mike is based in Rhode Island.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, no, definitely no in-person meeting. Casting, it was really funny casting James, the main character. I, got a ton of people interested, and I saw Joshua's headshot, and I was like, that is exactly what I always imagined he would look like. That is exactly what he should look like. And I messaged him. I was like, do you want to, please, we'd love to see an audition. Never got back to me. I was like, oh no, this is like, I feel like he's the one. And I sent him, I stalked his email from his resume and like sent him a desperate email. I was like, I'd really love to see an audition if you're interested. He did the most amazing audition, just happened to get lucky that like the person that I had in my head is also literally the nicest, most talented actor ever. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, we pushed him so hard, and he would just at the end of the night be like, oh, I'm so grateful to be here. And I'm like, oh my gosh, go get some sleep. Like, we're running overnights and, just crazy.
That's awesome. When I was watching, specifically the scene where he's on the phone with the friend who's like, oh, we're coming over. I hope if he watches this, he takes it as a compliment. But I was picking up Chalamet vibes. I was like, the hair. No, honestly, it was in his voice.
Really?
I heard it in his voice. There was something there where I was like, oh man, like Chalamet, and I say this as a compliment because like Chalamet in the sense that like there's very little dialogue, but you can tell he's connecting with the dialogue. And it doesn't feel like it's fake or forced. Like it was really nice. I liked them both. I thought that they were good he was a good vehicle with which to experience what is essentially like, yes, there is the AIDS aspect kind of like lying in the back of it, but for me it was the embarrassment of being with the person you want to be with.
Yeah.
And like having to hide that from your friends. And I thought that he played that series of emotions really, really convincingly.
Yeah. I don't know if I hope that I sort of was picking that up from, just his reel and stuff, but he does have this kind of like internalness to him and sort of, just kind of closed off emotion that I felt like is so perfect for the role. I mean, he just, every person that worked on this film, I'm like, this would have been nothing if that one specific person didn't work on it.
Well, he's got that closed, I would almost say vulnerability. Like, you can tell that there's vulnerability there, but it's like hard to get, for that character, it's hard to, you can't be vulnerable.
Yeah.
But like you see that kind of
the struggle.
Yeah. But then also it was nice, like at the diner scene where he's able to like turn it on and be like, giving it right back to the guys. Like he was able to kind of go through those two.
Yes. Yeah.
Very seamlessly.
I would love to say that, that's my brilliant direction, but honestly, very little direction was needed. Like,
well, you know what they say about good directing. Half of it is the casting. So
I'll take that.
So there you go. So you are a good director.
So Mike, who plays Lewis, actually wrote a novel that is it's called The Code of the Nightbird, and it is a speculative, futuristic novel about basically a boy that has to go to conversion therapy camp to get health insurance.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is, feeling a little not far off now.
Yeah.
But so he shot over the last summer, he shot a proof of concept for the feature version of his novel.
Oh, really?
And he played the lead, and he cast Joshua to play sort of his romantic interest in it.
And this was after they had been on your set
yes,
together.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it was really cool, and they had Al shoot it as well. And so, just to get to come like be on set and get to kind of see them like acting again together was so much fun.
Well, that's kind of like the best case scenario when you make a film, is that the people that were on that film actually liked working with each other
and want to do more of it.
Continue that community. That's awesome.
Very validating to hear.
Yeah. And you must be absolutely over the moon with the reception to your film, right?
Yeah,
I mean New Bedford notwithstanding.
Yeah, it's been kind of we're at the very beginning, so I'm sort of like, I don't really know what this, I've never done like any sort of festival process before, so I don't know what it's supposed to look like, but like I feel like we've done okay so far.
So you've been to New Bedford.
Yes.
What other film festivals have you gotten accepted to attended so far?
So prior to basically like the week before New Bedford Film Festival, we did our New York premiere at the Philip K. Dick Science Fiction Festival,
Okay.
which was really interesting. Really cool to get to, since so much of our crew was in New York, we got to sort of, they screened in like Manhattan, so we got to have everybody like come out for it. So it was very like nice timing to sort of have that be our premiere party for New York.
Cool.
And then we just recently got accepted to the American Pavilion Emerging Filmmakers Festival, which happens alongside Cannes Film Festival.
That's right. You had mentioned this. You leave for Paris soon, right?
Yes, yeah, we're flying right into Nice. But yeah, in like 2 weeks,
Wow.
which I'm very unprepared for. But
why do you feel unprepared for it?
Just well, I digital nomad and all. I can't really go to Europe unless I'm like there for 3 weeks. So now I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna be in Europe for all the rest of May in 2 weeks.
I mean, there are worse things in the world.
Amazing. Yes, yeah. But I'm like, oh, why did I just do that? That's kind of crazy.
No, that's fun. Are you excited? Like what? So it got accepted into that festival.
Yeah. So it'll be screening like basically the American Pavilion is like sort of a mecca for American filmmakers that are attending Cannes Film Festival to come and sort of like, Emerging Filmmaker Festival. They have like a LGBTQ film festival within the Emerging Filmmakers. So we're in that as well.
Cool.
But yeah, we're very excited. My screenwriter, Stephanie, co-screenwriter, will be attending as well. So,
that's awesome. So it's not like you're going to be facing it alone.
No, yes. And my dad, who the composer, is also going to come.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
And backing up to New Bedford Film Festival, we had talked about your dad, but what award did you win?
I won the Best South Coast Filmmaker of the Year.
That's awesome. I mean, what an honor, right?
Yeah, I mean, just the competition was like so crazy that I was, very blown away.
I was only there for one day and the competition was intense. Not saying your film didn't deserve it, but yeah, you stood out amongst some really good films.
Oh, thank you.
And filmmakers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so kind of special because we relied so heavily on like support from this area. And, obviously so much of our crew was from around here. So much of the Indiegogo sponsors were like family, friends, and people I had like known and just people that heard about it on like Facebook and stuff. And, we just used so many locations around here too that it was like sort of like a homecoming, because I mean, so much of the editing happened in LA, or we did the sound mix in New York. So it sort of this film has traveled a lot. And it was very nice to sort of have it get a good reception back in New Bedford where, it all started.
Yeah, that's great. Now, you forgive me, I probably should have paid attention to the credits more. Did you edit this film?
Yes.
You did? Okay.
That's why it took so long.
Why do you say that?
Well, just I wish that I sort of had some sort of deadline because, trying to sort of be a commercial editor, there was always a paying client that was more important than director me telling me to edit this.
Sure.
So it took so long to sort of get enough, time and money set aside to be able to be like, oh, I'm going to make this my main focus. But I think that I have like grown a lot as an editor throughout this process too. So it's maybe great that I didn't just like sit down and edit the whole thing the day after.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you're a very talented editor. I got to, see some of the spots that are on your website, and it clearly translates to this film. I'm curious, do you find it difficult to be objective about your own film when you're editing, or is it maybe on the flip side, or is it maybe more something that, oh no, I was meant to edit this, I feel this, like I know where the edits and the beats are supposed to be?
Gosh, that's really interesting. I do feel like a little bit of both. I would say for every like scene, I would know I would be able to get to a rough cut really easily. Be like, I know the shape of this. And then it was the sort of refinement that I would sort of just kind of feel like I was getting blind to You know, as with repetition, you start to, you know, not be able to process it as much. So that was when I would be like, okay, I'm going to get outside sets of eyes on this. And, you know, a lot of Al, my partner, did like a lot of like feedback and stuff. We did like a little test screening in LA and stuff. So we had really good system of like, you know, just turning it into more of a communal thing than just me alone directing and editing and all of that.
Yeah, of course. What was the test screening process like in LA?
Yeah, that was really, I mean, it was just people came over to our apartment, but we wrote up a big, basically sort of survey that asked all of the main plot points that said, what did you think was going on in this film? And pretty literally was like, oh, you know, why was James nervous after the phone call with Henry? Like, why was he hiding stuff? Just trying to make sure that these things that are sort of obvious to us are actually coming across to viewers. And there was definitely some stuff where we were like, we're going to like implement something in the sound design here because this isn't quite coming across.
Based on the surveys.
Yeah, based on the feedback that we got. Yeah. So it was super, super helpful. And, you know, almost there's those sort of like nitty gritty details related to the plot. And then also like the emotionality and like, what are you feeling here? And sort of going, okay, well, maybe we want to push the music a little bit in this direction because we want to counteract this or something.
That's actually really smart. You're the first person I've sat down with who's done that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, no, Al like came up with it and seemed to be a very normal process for him.
Sure.
He's worked like in very legitimate LA productions for, you know, a long time now and has sort of more of that. I'm coming from like a very, very indie, like no budget, low budget world.
No,
but,
of course.
Yeah, the survey is super helpful just to get, I mean, because a film like this too is so like.
It's very cerebral.
It's very cerebral.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't just be in your own head on this. Like it, you know, needs more outside feedback and that kind of thing.
So did you do kind of survey screenings multiple times or was it the one?
That was just one time. And I had a couple other friends that I sort of would show it to and then I would like grill them. But
You're not leaving until I get every single answer. Yeah.
But that was like very serious, like don't talk to each other after you watch this, just answer the questions. We're not going to say anything. Make sure that you're not getting
Did you have them write it down?
Yeah, they all like filled out like a Google form on their phone and then submitted it, and then we like talked about it too.
Wow.
But I mean, I definitely think that a film like this, you hear one person say something and you go, oh yeah, that's what I think too. So it was really helpful to get, you know, obviously some people said stuff that was just like completely crazy. I was like, oh, there's no helping you. I'm sorry.
Sure. You didn't just watch the same movie that people did. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. I you know, you hear about it on like big Hollywood films, like, you know, this whole survey process, but it's interesting to see kind of a low budget independent film kind of utilize those same strategies.
It was cool because we actually did have one person come from LA to work on it. 2 people? No, 1.
Okay.
But some are in LA now that were in New York before. But so the screening it was a lot of people that knew nothing about the film and were going in very blind, but also are all sort of working in the industry, super interested, you know, big film fanatics. So it was a really good group to sort of sit down with, I think.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. Now I want to see other people implement that. And now I'm thinking back to all my films. I'm like, wish I had done that. So start to finish, how long did it take?
Well, I mean, the initial script was written in like 2019 or something, and it just finished. We finished this like in February.
Like a 6-year process.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you? What would be your secret to maintaining your enthusiasm for the project that whole time?
I don't know that I have a secret for that.
No.
I think definitely. I don't know about enthusiasm, but doing the Indiegogo meant that there's no way that I'm like sort of not taking this seriously at every step of the way because people have literally invested money.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm not going to just like half-ass any part of it. That might have made it take longer, but.
Well, it's accountability.
Yes. Yeah. I think that sort of accountability, I can totally see. I mean, I've had plenty of like little projects where you talk about it with a friend and then it's just like, oh, I'm not going to actually do this. But
yeah, of course.
So that really helped to sort of know like, oh, you know, we have like outside vested interests. A lot of the Indiegogo process was like, I did a lot of like social media stuff and, had some stuff like get good views. Our executive producer found us from a TikTok that I posted.
Okay.
Like did not know us at all and decided to like give the most that anyone gave for the film.
Wow.
So yeah, I think that sort of knowing that enthusiasm was out there I was able to sort of take that instead of necessarily having to have my own like, oh, I love this.
No, that makes sense. And also I'd like to know that, I'm always interested in the way that people go about raising funds for their films.
Yeah.
And I'm always interested in the different, let's call it perks. Let's call it, methods for getting people interested. Can you talk about some of the things that went into your Indiegogo as like, what would you call it? It's not a prize. It's not a reward.
I think they call them
incentives,
perks on their website.
Yeah.
We had like tons of huge variety of tiers. So you could give like, I think like $5 and just have your name in the credits or like a social media shout out. And then, a little bit more and you get like a thank you letter. And then
a personalized letter from like yourself or the producers. Okay. Yeah.
And then going up more, you start to get like actual like physical prizes. We did we are doing cassettes of the original score.
Oh, cool.
Which you'll be able to actually, they have this their own like cover art as well that's like based on that one.
Cool.
I should have brought one of those. And you can actually play them. They have some bonus tracks on them as well.
Nice.
Because my dad also did not just the score, but all of the original soundtracks. So all the songs you hear on the radio, in the diner scene and like over the montage at the end, those are all like 80s songs that he's written and performed.
Cool.
It was super fun. So that's like on the cassette as well. I mean, just, the nature of sort of having a film that's in a period piece, like
it opens up a lot of avenues.
Perks are, that's kind of easy, which is kind of funny because the film kind of straddles this line of like, we're in the 80s and it's kind of fun. We're appreciating a lot of the cinematography of the like, 80s horror film looks, but it's not like there's some very serious things that are 80s related that are happening.
It's not schlock.
Yeah. And it's a little bit funny and ironic to me that our Indiegogo is like VHS tape. Like, yay, look at all this fun 80s stuff. You're going to get a Polaroid camera.
But also AIDS.
Yeah. Like, it's a weird dichotomy that hopefully, no one's too upset by. But
I feel like, there's something to that in that, you use the VHSs, you use the, cassette tapes.
It's part of the horror element as well.
But it's also part of the fun.
Yes.
And like, I don't think that, you treat the subject matter with such seriousness and sincerity. Like, I don't know, there's just kind of there's a beautiful, like, you're looking at the fun part, but you're also looking at the tragic part, and it's all kind of coming together in this one thing.
Yeah. I think that's definitely what the film tries to achieve. It's funny to sort of have the Indiegogo as well, where it's like, that's a lot of people's like perception of the film. All sort of very interesting. But we have VHS tapes, cassettes, and then like larger, you get like a prop from the film as well.
I noticed you could get one of the TVs.
Yes. Well, you still can. If anybody wants a retro CRT TV with a smart TV installed in it as the screen, you can probably get one at a good discount because I need to get rid of it.
I need to get them out of the house. Can you actually talk about that? I want to. So everything, for everybody that's listening, everything in the film, if there is a TV in the frame, it's actually projecting. Like, you filmed as the TV was projecting. How did you achieve that so it looks natural and not, the banded?
Yeah. It's funny, you could probably film one of those TVs and see the actual issue. If you, film a CRT TV, you get like horrible distortion and basically is unviewable. But so what we did was we got our TV. We needed a TV for the bedroom and a TV for the living room where you would actually be able to watch him watch real stuff on the TV. And so we brought them. We did a lot of research on like how to do prop TVs, you know, like stuff like Stranger Things exists, like people are doing this, but I think most people are doing green screen, doing like VFX and doing it in post because it's really difficult to get like a CRT TV with basically, you know, a normal LED screen inside of it that you would actually be able to film. There's like one guy in Connecticut that like will rent them to you for like $1,000 a day. It was just, you know, completely,
which is going to break the budget.
Yes, yeah, I was like that would be, you know, 10 times the budget. But so we were like, oh, it can't be that hard to like do it ourselves, right?
Famous last words. Oh my God, I always love when somebody says, no, it can't be that hard to do it ourselves.
It actually could have been famous last words because like I don't know how much you know about like cathode ray tubes, but it's like a vacuum in there. So if you are trying to get in there and remove a cathode ray tube out of the TV, it can blow up and all of the glass will just explode out of the front of the TV.
And did you find this out after?
No, this luckily the director stepped in and said, absolutely not. We're not doing this.
Yeah.
So we brought it to a TV repairman in Fall River, Saber TV.
Okay.
And we were like, we have this TV. Can you gut it for us and give us just the casing, which they thought was a really weird request.
Yep.
But, you know, we paid cash, so
they didn't ask any further questions.
Really didn't. So we got these shells of these TVs. One is this gorgeous like wood kind of like 70s looking like living room main TV.
Yep.
And then the other is like a smaller, more plastic casing. Yeah, just like that.
Yep.
For his bedroom. And in the larger TV, it was really, really difficult to find. We had to find a flat screen TV that would fit inside the casing and also press up completely again. So it had to be the exact right size.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of like driving around and measuring things.
Yeah.
And then for the little TV, the only screen that we could find that would work would be an iPad.
Oh, okay, cool. No, that's really cool.
Yeah, so it worked out because we were able to sort of like mirror it to a laptop and then have DaVinci Resolve open on the laptop. And then same thing for the TV downstairs. We would be able to actually have, because I had to do an edit of what we shot that was going to be on the TV. So that edit was in Resolve, like ready to sort of be color graded and adjusted for camera.
And then you have very easy access to like, you know, resetting the video to where you need it.
Yeah, that was basically one of our ACs was like his job was to reset the TV to get it back to the starting point. And, you know, it was so funny. We had all these like Bluetooth, like a Bluetooth mouse and keyboard over here, and it's like controlling a CRT TV.
That's so cool.
It was very funny, like BTS. But the TVs also, you'll see that the like actual digital screen is flush with the TV casing. And that was not how it worked out once we got the TVs back from the TV repairman, because basically there's all this stuff when you have the cathode ray tube is connected to the screen. So all of the screen is gone. So that means all of the, what is it called? Like that plastic rim around the TV is completely destroyed when you pull it out. So we had a 3D printer print us out like custom, I guess, frames for the front of it. So it would look like it was completely connected to the TV. So that, you know, a whole nother layer of the process to get him all those specs and like give him the TV for a couple days and get it back on set. And this was all happening like the week before we shot.
God damn. This actually might be like my favorite kind of behind the scenes thing that I've ever learned about
it's like,
any of our guests.
If anybody like is shooting a period piece and needs like to do this with a CRT TV, like let me know,
because I've got them.
I have them. It just seems so like, I don't know if the solution is to do it in post. Like that was never going to work for our film. Like so much of it is at night with the TV lighting as a lighting source for our character. To do that with VFX would have been like monetarily impossible.
And on top of it, I'm thinking of
performance.
I'm thinking about performance. It would have been asking a lot of your two leads.
Way too much. Yeah.
To, especially in that last scene.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you're not gonna fake that.
No, I don't know how you would. Yeah.
No. Actually, I really love that last scene, and I don't want you to give anything away, but have how do I phrase this best? Have you received from the audience a bunch of interpretations about what it means?
Every interpretation you can imagine.
Okay. Now,
and what's interesting is people are very sure of themselves as well. They go, "Oh, this is what happened." I go, "Whoa."
That's what you took from it. Okay.
And it's like, I'm never going to tell someone they're wrong, but it's really interesting that there does seem there's a consensus that gets reached that makes me really happy to hear. Obviously, a film like this that has kind of an open ending, open for interpretation, you never know what someone's going to take away, but I've been very happy that people seem to be getting a lot of the themes of the film through that final scene.
Mm-hmm. But in your head, there's a distinct answer as to what it is.
I don't even know if that is necessarily true. I know what it isn't.
Okay.
But like, there's just a lot of sort of kind of like, I don't know. I want to say like violent endings. Like, I don't know.
No, don't give it away.
But to me, anything that kind of touches, in my opinion, you can either take it literally or metaphorically, and neither has to be wrong as long as you understand what that means. This is terrible podcasting.
No, this is amazing podcasting because this is going to incentivize people to actually, go and watch the film if we haven't already done a great job at advertising the shit out of it.
We've applied to a lot of film festivals in like Providence and Boston and stuff, so I'm hopeful it will be around the area.
Yeah, please, keep us posted because if we can help get local audience there so that they can come up with their own interpretation about what that ending means. But I feel like that's also, as a filmmaker, that there can be no greater compliment to the effort that you put into it, where it's like, not only like, obviously you're probably going to get you don't even know, you didn't watch the same movie, you didn't understand it at all.
So,
you're going to get
happens.
those. But for the majority, it sounds like, of people who are coming to you with different interpretations, it must be a compliment to think that not only did it resonate with them on some level, that they're actually taking the time to think it through, but all the different ways they're thinking it through.
Yeah.
That must be awesome.
Yeah. I had someone recently sort of came up, told me, "Oh, I watched it and tell me if I'm right. Like, this is everything that I thought was going on." And I was like, "Oh, that's like everything that was in the script. Like, you did it exactly. Those are all my notes on the columns. Like, just like a perfect 1-to-1." I was like, wow, for someone I'm not like expecting that from.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Then I'm not going to give you my interpretation because I'm going to sit here and sound like an idiot.
No, I'm sure you would not. It's not, I don't think it's too, I think it's not that hard to get to thematically, at least,
I mean, don't give your hand away, but from my perspective, it quite simply is, whether literally or metaphorically, it's about him being stripped of his identity.
Yeah.
I mean, he can't be the person he wants to be, so he might as well not even be there. And I thought that was a beautiful kind of message at the end of this. And I thought it was kind of brilliant the way that they all acknowledge he's still there, but he's totally not.
Yeah. It was a big swing, definitely. Like, I was on set like, oh God, like, what are we doing? Are we doing this? And it makes me feel so happy that,
people are getting it.
Yeah, there's a meaningfulness there that people are taking away that's, I think, is really valuable.
Hell yeah. So, what's next?
Oh man.
I mean, we had talked about this a little bit before, but I definitely want to hear from your perspective. But it's like, you had said that now you kind of want to experience what it's like to be on set in a different capacity.
Yeah.
And my answer to that was, you got to keep going.
Yeah,
you got to keep going.
I would love to. It's interesting because it was such a collaborative effort that I do kind of feel like I don't know that all these same people couldn't really come together again. So I'm like, there's no sort of like, oh, let me like try to do this again.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely been a great experience in that I've met so many people like that are working on set and stuff and have been able to, to collaborate with Mike again and have him, we actually he did his proof of concept short film we did a double sort of premiere screening with Interference, which was really fun.
How was that received?
It was great. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
actually really cool to have them together because they do have a little bit like similar themes.
Thematically, they kind of complement each other.
Yeah, and a lot of crossover on the people that are involved and the people that are enthusiastic about them. So that was like really cool.
And forgive me if you just said this, but where did you have that premiere?
We did that at the Shepherd Center, which is in Fairhaven, which is where Alyssa had her pre-screening for her short film.
Cool. Okay.
But Brian from the Shepherd Center was so incredibly nice. Like it's a nonprofit to support media and arts around the community, and just literally did every possible, was so over the top, like ready to help us and to make this perfect for us, which I very much appreciated.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think this film, I'm trying to sort of let it take me where it takes me, like I'm super excited that I'm getting to go to festivals. I've meeting so many people at the New Bedford Film Festival, like you.
Yeah, of course.
That's like, that is tons of different doors open, like new people that I'm, checking out their work and we're like, oh, we should collaborate on something. So I feel like I don't even really need to like
think about the next thing.
Yeah, I just feel
kind
like
of trust the process.
I mean, one of the things, kind of my favorite thing about directing is sort of being passionate about an idea and sort of supporting an idea. And I love to do that for like other people's ideas as well, whether that's like producing, whether that's, just like being supportive of other artists. But
in whatever way you can be.
Yeah, like that is something that really excites me and doesn't need to sort of be all about me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're not actively writing anything right now?
No active next script. I'm pretty focused on like video editing and like, sort of trying to get into more like narrative spaces in the editing field. More like on-set work as a DIT, kind of getting a little bit more into the post-production of like higher level stuff. Which I'm hoping I'll be able to do like a little bit more once I'm planning to be in New York more steadily for the next couple years than I have been in the past. I think, I don't know. Just waiting to see what happens.
That's so cool. I'm very, very happy for you. I mean, seriously, it was a great film, and it was very enlightening to talk to you about the whole process. I mean, thank you for being so candid about it all.
Yeah, no, I definitely, I think that there's sort of this barrier to entry with filmmaking. And I felt that a lot of times at the film festival, being like, oh my God, like your film is so amazing. How did you do it? It's like, oh, just kind of did the same thing of like find people that want to support you and, find people that are passionate and just do it.
Yeah. If you could, I mean, I guess you just said it, but I'll ask you directly, if there's anybody listening who's very new on this journey, what advice would you give to anybody that's just starting?
I kind of want to give the advice that is the opposite of what people normally say, which is maybe don't just do it. Maybe like give things some thought before you invest in them. I think a lot of there's sort of this idea of like, just go make something, go make anything, which I think you should go make anything. But I think you should always treat it seriously. I think it should, I mean, that's kind of silly. You should also do stuff that's just for fun. But as far as, I don't think there's a reason to say, oh, this is low budget, therefore I'm not going to go all in. Or this is never really going to be that much, so therefore I shouldn't take it that seriously. I think that at any level of a production or at any level of any art form, there's room for you to create something that's very meaningful to someone else.
I love that. I wish I had heard that advice about 5 years ago, but no, that's great. Cool. Well, if anybody's listening and they want to check out Interference, I know it's still doing the festival circuit, so it's not exactly out for public consumption, but are you open to people reaching out to you to see it privately?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. Where would they find you?
Yeah, you can reach me on my Instagram is lila.sophia.w, Sophia with a PH. Same for TikTok. I'm using both of those as a sort of public platform for the film and posting all of our festival updates and stuff. to those platforms, more Instagram now, unfortunately. But yeah. And then my website is lilawoodbridge.com if, anybody wants to reach out.
I love it. Lila, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on Interference. I wish you nothing but the best on the festival circuit, which sounds like it's going to take up the better part of the rest of the year.
We'll see.
Good luck in Paris.
Fingers crossed. Thank you.
And please, if you do have any screenings that come to Rhode Island or Massachusetts or
absolutely.
Northern New York, let us know.
Very, very hopeful that we will. So
and if we can promote it in any way, we will.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Lila Woodbridge. Thanks for being here. All right, catch you on the next one.